One normal day unfolds without any warning that something unusual is about to happen. People walk through streets, sit in offices, drive on busy roads, and move through their routines without noticing anything different. Everything feels stable and predictable because gravity, the invisible force that holds everything in place, has always been constant. No one thinks about it because it has never changed. Then, in a single unexpected moment, everything shifts. There is no sound, no visible signal, but suddenly the force that keeps people and objects grounded disappears. At first, no one understands what is happening. A person standing still feels their body begin to lift slightly. Objects resting on tables start drifting upward. Water rises out of glasses, and loose items float freely into the air. Within seconds, confusion spreads as people realize they are no longer connected to the ground. In open spaces, individuals begin floating slowly upward, their movements uncertain and uncontrolled. On roads, cars lose contact with the surface, causing them to drift slightly out of position. Inside buildings, furniture, tools, and everyday objects lift into the air, creating a surreal and disorienting scene. The absence of gravity turns even the simplest movement into a challenge, as people struggle to control their direction and avoid collisions with surrounding objects. Some experience a brief moment of excitement, feeling weightless and free in a way they have never felt before. Others feel immediate fear as they realize they have no control over their position. The environment becomes unpredictable as everything moves without a clear direction. The 10 seconds feel longer than expected because the human mind is not prepared for such a sudden and unfamiliar experience. Then, just as suddenly as it disappeared, gravity returns. In an instant, everything that had risen begins falling back toward the ground. Objects that floated gently now drop with force. People who were lifted into the air fall back down, sometimes safely, sometimes with impact depending on their position. Items crash onto floors, surfaces, and each other, creating a brief moment of chaos. Vehicles settle back onto the road, but not always in their original positions, causing confusion and potential accidents. The sudden return of gravity transforms the quiet floating moment into a sharp and unpredictable descent. After the 10 seconds end, silence is replaced by the sound of objects settling, people reacting, and the world trying to regain its balance. At first, no one fully understands what just happened. People look around, checking their surroundings, making sure they are safe. News quickly spreads as reports come in from every part of the world confirming the same event. For 10 seconds, gravity stopped everywhere. Scientists begin analyzing the situation, trying to understand how such a fundamental force could disappear even briefly. The impact becomes clearer as time passes. Even though the event lasted only a short moment, the effects are noticeable. Objects are out of place. Some areas experience damage, and people begin reflecting on how quickly stability can disappear. What felt permanent and unchangeable suddenly proved to be fragile. As the day continues, conversations shift toward a deeper realization. Gravity is not something people usually think about, yet it influences every movement, every structure, and every moment of daily life. Without it, even for a few seconds, the world becomes unpredictable. The experience leaves a lasting impression, reminding people that the systems they rely on the most are often the ones they notice the least. By the end of the day, life begins returning to normal, but the memory of those 10 seconds remains clear. The feeling of weightlessness, followed by the sudden return to reality, creates a question that stays in people's minds. If something as constant as gravity can disappear without warning, even for a short time, how stable is the world we believe we understand? And what would happen if the next time it lasted longer than 10 seconds?